Hi. So, I worked from 11 to 7 today. For those of you who don't know, I work at Dunkin' Donuts. I worked at Dunkin' for about 3 years now, and since being hired, I've gotten a promotion in which I am basically in charge on weekend afternoons, usually just on Sundays, but depending on the week and like who else is working, sometimes on Saturdays. Today I was also in charge. Um, that would sound awesome to any like normal human being, but in my case, it's hell because I get stuck with idiots every time I'm in charge. Let me just today, my crew, as they call it at Dunkin'. This was my crew. Okay, so we have my really good friend. I'm not going to name names on here because there's people that probably know who I'm talking about because I know that there are people that follow me on here from my hometown. I don't want to name names, but there's one girl that I work with who I'm pretty good friends with. I'm not going to say anything bad about her. We get along really well. She's really funny. I love her whenever I have her around. Then, there's a girl whose lovely Facebook statuses I share with you all the time because she is so tragically horrible at spelling that we can't help but laugh. And let me tell you, she's not a genius in anything else either, so that's wonderful. So much fun. She's actually a really nice girl. She usually gets stuff done. I don't really hate working with her, but sometimes I need to just laugh. Then there's this douche who only works, he's one of two guys that work at, he's one of two male employees at my work. My manager doesn't really hire a lot of guys because they tend to be really awful at my job. So anyway, so there's this douchebag who, if he wasn't such a douchebag, I'd probably go for him because, to be honest, he has a really good taste in music. He's not hideous, and he's kind of tall. He dresses pretty well, and he's a few years older than me. And he's funny about 20% of the time when he's not making jokes that only my dad would enjoy. But yeah, no, he's a total tool bag. He literally said to me today, this is what happened. Okay, so he has worked at Dunkin' like longer than I have, but not at my store. He worked at another store in my franchise. So he's allowed to come back and work at my store where my manager can give him hours, which is usually only on like winter break and in the summer and stuff. So he works, for all intents and purposes, he works at my Dunkin' Donuts like 2 months out of the year. So working with him today, haven't seen him since this summer, probably. He was only there for about like 2 or 3 hours while I was working. I think he left at like 2. But so my Dunkin' Donuts is in a gas station, so we have like 2 coffee stations. We break one of them down at around like 1, 2, and we only use the drive-through station in the afternoon. So he starts bringing all the dishes down, putting them in the back sink, and I'm thinking, oh, cool, he's gonna get the dishes out of the way. That way we have one less thing to do in the afternoon because we were short a person. No, he puts all the dishes in the sink, sets up the soap water and everything, and then goes, I don't do dishes. Oh, excuse me, you don't do dishes, mister. Like, alright, so why don't you just leave then? Because really, like, what do you do other than stand around and make crappy jokes about spilled milk when there's literally spilled milk? Like, that's so funny. No, that's literal. It's not humor. Like, who are you? And then he literally pointed out the fact that I was socially awkward today and tried to make an entire conversation about it with everyone that was working. Like, oh, you're so funny. No, shut up. No one likes you. Go home. Like, you don't even work here. Okay. Then we have the lovely, tall, beautiful, blonde princess who doesn't understand what karma is. So she's going on and on about this guy that she met at the club the other night, who's a bouncer, who's like 5 years older than her, who's really hot, and like she goes for the Guidos, like of course, oh my god, but whatever. She has a boyfriend. What are you doing talking to this guy at the club when you have a boyfriend at home who's really good to you, who may not be the hottest guy on earth, but he like treats her really well. Like he comes off and just drops off flowers for her at work all the time. Like, hello, guys like that don't exist. So I would keep him. Anyway, so she's talking to this guy, she's texting him, whatever, blah blah blah. She's like, should I text him? I don't know if I should talk to him. Oh god, oh my life is so awful. So she's talking to him, and then like 10 minutes into their texting conversation, her boyfriend is flipping out on her because of something else, which apparently had nothing to do with this. But I'm like, hello, Karma, like, you probably shouldn't be talking to this guy. People don't understand this. Like, I don't live my life by karma, but when I see it, I know it's there. Some people are so oblivious. So she goes outside, and she's like, I'm sorry, I just need a minute. And she goes outside, and she has to sitting on the sidewalk crying for like a half an hour while we're in the middle of a rush, and every freaking customer that comes in is like, is she okay? Is she okay? She's out there crying. Like, I'm really nervous for her. Because they all love her, because she's like a freaking beauty queen, and she just like, oh my god, on Halloween she wore like a, like, Playboy Alice in Wonderland costume, and everyone was like, oh my god, look at her, and all the guys were like fawning all over her, and I'm just like, okay, like, excuse me, I'm trying to make my coffee, Miss Black Swan Tutu over here, can you get out of my way? And then we have Mr. Pathological Liar, who comes in at 5 o'clock and tells me 18 different stories about the fact that we ran out of cream last week, which is physically impossible because he's telling me that we were out of milk and cream for 4 days straight when we get the order every 3 days. And I call him out all the time, and I'm like, buddy, listen, that's not possible, because I do the inventory on Sundays, and we get the order in on Mondays, and I know we weren't out of it for 4 straight days because the store would have been unable to run. Like, do you think when you speak? Probably, I don't even know. And then he used to work at McDonald's, which I don't even understand why you need 2 jobs when you're like 16 years old in high school. He doesn't have a girlfriend, doesn't have a car, doesn't do anything social with his life because no one can stand to hang out with him because he's a pathological liar. Like, what are you spending money on? I don't want to know. So needless to say, today was just fantastic. Then, here's the other thing. I don't know how many of you frequently are Dunkin' Donuts customers, but people don't know how to order coffee. Okay? When you get hired at Dunkin' Donuts, you're trained to use the machines that we have, which, like, if I'm making someone, it's kind of hard to explain to someone. Like, say someone wants a medium hot regular. That's 3 creams, 3 sugars, okay? There's a button on a creamer that I press, and it shoots out 3 creams. We were cleaning the creamer today for a while, because we have to clean them every so often. Like, I'm sorry, do you want curdled cream in your coffee? I don't think so. So we were cleaning them, and usually the store slows down a little bit while we're cleaning it because we can't use the machine. We have to manually pour out 3 creams, which, yeah, we pour it from, like, a carton, so obviously it's not going to be exact, but we worked there long enough that we know how much is, like, 3 creams goes in a medium, whatever. We can, like, visualize it. So this kid orders his coffee, a medium. He wants a medium iced coffee with 2 and 2. Now, that means to me, 2 creams, 2 sugars. So I go and put 2 sugars in this coffee because we weren't cleaning the sugar dispenser. So that I just press the button, and then I go to pour out, like, so I poured out a little bit less than what I would usually put into a medium. Then I bring it over to him, and he goes, that is way too light. And I'm like, okay, no, I was really nice, because it's part of my job. This happens all the time. I was like, alright. I was like, oh, it's too light. I was like, how did you want it? You wanted a 2 and 2, right? I was like, that's 2 creams, 2 sugars. I was like, I put it, a regular is 3 creams, 3 sugars, so I put a little bit less than a regular. And he goes, that's way too light. He goes, I wanted 2 milks, 2 sugars. Oh, you wanted milk. Because that's different. You could have told me that before I made it, but alright, that's fine. So I go back over, and I make it with milk. And I put a little bit less, even like less. And then I bring it over and go, that's so dark. This is what I deal with, okay? People are idiots, and then they take it out on me. And then, there's this other guy who orders like 18 sandwiches through our drive-thru. We only have 1 oven in the afternoon because we are in a gas station. This is the smallest Dunkin' Donuts, like, in all of Rhode Island. Go to the one across the street that has 3 sandwich stations. Like, are you blind? Why are you coming here? To order like 18 sandwiches for your freaking family in your minivan who's gonna go home and just like grub all day. It's New Year's Day. Eat a salad. Aren't you on like some sort of diet or something? Like, oh, I can't. People. So then he orders a great one is an extra large coffee, okay? Which means that's 5 creams, 5 sugars if he wants it regular. But he wants it light and sweet, which means I put double the amount of cream, double the amount of sugar. That's 10 creams and 10 sugars. But he goes, no. And when you make it, can you make it light and sweet, but with skim milk and 4 Splenda? So I was like, that's 2 totally different things. This is on the drive-thru too, so I can't even, like, tell. I can't even, like, show him, like, face-to-face. I'm like, alright, so did you want it light and sweet, or did you want it with skim milk and 4 Splenda? I want it light and sweet, but with skim milk and 4 Splenda. People are so freaking rude, too. That's the thing. Like, it's one thing if you don't know what you're doing, but don't take it out on me and act like I don't know how to do my job, okay? Dumbass. Like, this is the longest video ever, and no one's ever gonna want to sit and listen to me rant for this long. I just needed to say all this because people don't know how to order freaking coffee, and people are rude, people are idiots, and this is why I love Tumblr, and this is why I will be forever single, because I cannot put up with anyone. Goodbye.